I was talking about is your bandhas, and you have 3 primary bandhas. You have Mula Bandha, which is in between your anus and genitals. That's a fun place. Then you have Uddiyana Bandha, where you suck, the belly flies up. And then you have Jalandhara Bandha, the neck, okay? So what she's talking about is when you go upside down, that you engage the bandhas to keep you upright. I don't think that that's necessarily true. A lot of people say that. But I know plenty of people who can do handstand who have no idea about the bandhas, who have no idea of the connection to that, and they do handstand amazing. And it's not. The handstand actually comes from your legs, not your bandhas, not your core. People think it's your core. It's not. It's your legs. That's what holds you up. I did it to Tyler today.
Yeah, it was cool.
But had Tyler been doing handstand on his own before that? Or no?
That was the first time anyone has ever done what Millard has done. I mean, I can do a handstand, but it's nothing impressive. But I don't have a handstand practice, if that's what you're asking.
Okay.
So Tyler goes down dog. He's gonna kick up to handstand. Good. So what I had Tyler do is I held his hip here and I put my fist here. Squeeze my fist. Now lift my fist up. Right. Okay. Now see how he's holding this in the middle of the room just like this? Beautiful. He's rock solid. He's good. Okay. Come down. So that. Can you hold a handstand that solid in the middle of the room without my fist?
I bend my legs and I like walk a bit. You know.
Just do it. Do what you do. Okay.
I mean, so I could go a little longer if I need to, but that's not.
But you see the difference? He's rock solid.
Yeah.
He wasn't moving. I wasn't even holding him. I was just there. Right? I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
It was his legs. It's your legs. It's not the bumps. The reason why I say that, that is a common thing that yoga teachers will say that I think is incorrect. And I think it's a... You ever talk to like a lawyer or an accountant or a stockbroker who's managing your money and they just kind of throw out words to you just to confuse you? You ever feel that person?
Yeah.
And then you wish you knew their business because you want to call them out on it because you knew they did it, but you just don't know their business well enough to go, you don't know what you're talking about. I had this experience recently with a guy who was managing my mom's retirement account. And so I was like drilling him on everything. And I was like, wait, you can't say that because you just said the opposite thing. And I'm not going to let you get away with that when you say, whatever. And he hated me. And I mean, I believe it. It would be a nightmare. It's a nightmare unless you really love your craft and you know what you're doing. It's only a nightmare when you don't know what you're doing and somebody is calling you out on it. Yoga is the same way. So when somebody says Mula Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, these are words we don't know. And so of course I can't do the handstand because I need to activate Mula Bandha. But how do I activate Mula Bandha? I don't know. And neither does the teacher. So that's why I disagree with it. Because if it were that easy, everybody could do it. Because all they'd have to do is do that and everything would be up. But your legs, that proved it to me. That proved to me that it's about your legs. So, handstanding, the way you teach a handstand. First you go to the wall. Okay? You go to the wall and your hands are about 6 inches from the wall. And you kick up to the wall. Vinita, why don't you move over and let's just let Tyler do it here. So, do down dog facing the wall. So you push it back to down dog. This is our starting point. I tell Tyler, raise his left leg in the air. Okay, now all I want you to do is take a little hop about 2 inches off the ground. That's it. That's it. Okay, so we start there. Do that 5 times. Okay, now pause for a second. What we need for this handstand to actually take place is his hips need to come above his shoulder, or in line with his shoulder. Once he starts doing that, do that, watch his hips. Just, right. Come back down, and now do the inch hop. Inch hop. There. See how his hips are not coming over his shoulders? You see it? Now watch, he's gonna kick up to the wall. Hips over the shoulders. Legs come up easy. Okay, come down. Can you do this so I can show him? So here, Tyler, watch this. This is good to know because you may have people, most people can't do this. So you gotta teach them how to do it. Down dog, facing the wall. Then just take the little hop, a few inches off the floor. See how our hips can't traverse the shoulders? See the hips? Can't get over the shoulders. There, she just did it. Now watch. As the hips come over the shoulders, that gets light. So then you kick up to the wall, and we're up.
Yeah.
Okay? So come down. So when you come up, you're practicing getting your hips over your shoulders. If you can do that, you're in a handstand. If you can't do that, then you're not ready yet. And you gotta congratulate people on just attempting it. And so what I'll tell people is that they need to, we're gonna go to the wall and we're gonna practice our handstand. I don't say we're gonna go to the wall and we're gonna do handstand now. Because what does that do? That makes the person go, I can't do handstand. No, we're gonna go to the wall and we're gonna practice it. Because that's what we're doing. So now let's do this.
Quick question. Is that entryway the easiest entry? Like that hop, like the down, like so for me, when I would do a handstand, I would normally widen my stance and then fall over my hands and kind of like press up a bit. Because it just makes my hips automatically light.
It does.
Yeah.
But
Because that takes a good kick, and then you feel like you're kicking too, I feel like I'm kicking too hard to get up.
you are. Okay, so Tyler's making a good point, which I was gonna save for later, but I might as well say it.
You want to keep your shit
When
up,
you
right?
when you kick up, you're actually overshooting. Because if you were in the middle of the room, you would fall over. You overshot when you kick up to the wall. This is an exercise in learning how to face your fear and learning how to go forward and learning how to do that. So that's what this is about. Your question about pressing up. That's
Just basically, almost like when you teach crow, where you get to that point of like, you know you're about to tip over and then you wind up lifting.
I would say the majority of the people in the room don't have enough upper body strength to support that though.
But is that an easier entranceway? Because I actually felt, I don't go to handstand ever from downward dog.
For somebody with upper body strength, yes.
Okay.
But for somebody like the average lady, this is easier than to press up.
Using the leg kick.
Yeah.
Okay.
The momentum.
Got it. Got it.
Let's try. Now, no, that was good to let her go.
Okay.
Now do it again.
I wasn't
but bring
expecting
her
that,
up.
sorry.
You gotta give me.
You gotta give
Should
her
I
more-
read? Yeah.
Try.
Okay.
No. Now hold on, pause. See how Kim's back is arched like a banana?
Yes.
Kim, bring your low back to Tyler.
I don't think my brain works that way.
Yes. Come down one leg at a time. So that's what's gonna happen. People are gonna bend there. I told you the same cue.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't
it's
catch it at
confusing.
first, but then I did catch it after.
Right.
Yeah.
And that straightens you out. But that takes time.
Can you say that again with my back? Because that
Well,
hurts.
you were like this.
Right.
Because that hurts.
So the bringing of the back towards him shouldn't hurt. That should relieve.
No, no. My
Yeah,
back
but
before
being
that was
in
hurting.
it, right. So the assist for this, guys, listen. The assist is I'm gonna grab the hips. Don't grab the feet. If you grab the feet, they can still fall. I can hold you here and keep you upright, even if you bail, because you could get scared and you go, ah, and then you fall. So you're on their hips. That's what you grab, okay?
Cool. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
try it again. I feel like a broken record that I say this a lot, but in the 300, I really spend time on this where we do this for like an entire weekend. And it becomes like, and I give you like the rubric of how to teach it. But as a 200, this isn't necessarily, because you might get out of here, you might be teaching at a geriatric ward, and you're not going to do this. Like, I mean, and not that older people can't do this, but if you're teaching like basic yoga, like this isn't something we want to do. You don't want to scare people away either. It's super beneficial though. Some of the benefits of inverting are, think of your organs, they're constantly being compressed down by gravity. Constantly being pushed down, all the time. When you flip upside down, they shift, they flop, and then they shake out, right? So that's an easy physiological benefit to understand. Good for your organs, good for your brain. Why? Because you get blood flow to the brain. You can see Tom's face, it's red.
Well, it's always red.
So in that way, it's good for that as well. I had a student once, and she was a resident doctor, and she said whenever she was tired, she would go in the break room, practice her handstands. She would come out, and she's like, "It's like I had 2 cups of coffee." She was like, "I'm good to go now." You know, so it resets you. It can really reset you. So don't underestimate the effect.
How long do you stay in a handstand for?
It's a good question. So that leads me to my next. If you want to get good at this, what you do is you go home. You put your phone on 1 minute and 15 seconds. And you hit the timer. You have 15 seconds to get into your handstand. And then you spend 1 minute upside down, getting used to being upside down. You're going to develop a certain amount of muscular strength in the muscles that you need to hold yourself there. So you can figure out how to hold yourself there. Put 1 foot on the wall, start to take 1 foot off of the wall. I know plenty of people in the forest yoga world, they're rock stars at handstand on the wall. But what that does is you're a rock star at training to overshoot your handstand. So you're actually developing a bad habit because you're kicking up too hard. You want to kick up and kiss the wall. You don't want to kick up and clunk the wall. So that's the way I always remember it. I want to kiss the wall. I don't want to hit the wall. This is going to control your movement. Let's watch Kim one more time. So Kim, push back, do a downward dog facing the wall. Okay, so right away, no, go back to where you were. Because this is where you were before. Mm-hmm. See, she's in a very wide, long down dog. So I told her, Kim, walk her feet in. What did that do to her hips in relation to her shoulders?
Absolutely.
Elevated them.
Just made them much closer to the shoulders, right? So now, even though this feels like a really weird downward dog, when she lifts up the left leg and starts to kick up, now her hips are really close to her shoulders. So she only has a little bit to manage this. One more time.
Hold on.
Good. She's going flat at a certain point in her back. That's preventing her. She has to learn to relax her hips so they can flow over her shoulders.
Do it again.
So she's going flat?
Yep, you can see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think if she looks at you,
No.
put your head down.
No.
No?
Your head is a rudder.
Really?
It keeps you upright.
Okay.
Yeah, to relax the head, it makes it incredibly difficult to balance. Just like in crow. Watch. You do crow, right? You can do crow? Kind of? Watch. Do crow regular.
I have no other crowd.
That's all right.
This is the crow.
Okay, good. Now relax your head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gonna fall on your head.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Higher.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just a way to prove to people that your head is a rudder. Your head is holding you there, teaching you how to balance. So watch, Tyler, now go against the wall with her. This is how you assist handstand, which we saw before. So Tyler's gonna put his hands on her hips, and he's ready to catch her. Now he's not gonna drag her up. She has to meet him halfway. Go. And he just guided her hips over his shoulder.
That wasn't a kiss.
No. Okay, come down one leg at a time.
How do you prevent not getting kicked in the face if you're
You do it.
Very good.
That's it.
It's also good when you're like a little shorter, cause like her.
Oh.
Yeah, as long as you move your head.
If you were short, yeah, then like. It's okay.
Okay, so that's our intro to handstand,
On your hands here.
right? So I don't want to go too deep into it because I want to do a little kirtan too. But the idea with it is to help people get over their fears.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you had shown a little bit of like technique as it relates to palming when we did the crow thing. And then when you cued me, there was the like raise my wrist, which was really like, I don't know, like extend my shoulder, whatever I did to do that. Like like basically what I'm asking is, what are the elements from like basic handstand when you put your hands on the mat? Because we didn't talk about that today. And then once you're up, to like elongate that. Like, because if you don't have that wrist thing, it's kind of hard to figure out how you're actually going to raise that part of your body. Is that my torso raising? Is it my shoulders coming?
Wait.
So when you cued me
today
yeah, today.
or crow? Last week.
Well, the first one was this posture thing,
Cool.
right? And so for me, I like to have a little bit of a wider stance.
Yes.
But when I did it with you, I didn't because I went from down dog. And then that's the first question is how do you get the best hand? The second question is the wrist thing. You then said lift my wrist. As soon as I lifted it up, I felt so much better. And you're like, he's strong, but I had no idea what I actually did because I just was the wrist thing made it easy for me to like figure
What I
out
said
how to do it.
was lift my wrist to the ceiling, and you had to engage your legs and shoot it up.
So you're saying it was coming out of my arms, that extra inch or two? Okay.
When you're upside down, everything is backwards, as you just realized. So when I give a cue, it's confusing. So sometimes you have to trick them. That was a trick,
Got it.
right?
Yeah.
As far as the hand goes, same thing. Get that good base,
Shoulder width apart.
a little wider even. You know, everybody has their own little thing of doing it. Your fingers act as the stopper. When you're starting to lose the handstand, your fingertips push back. And that's what holds you up, is your fingertips. But let's not put the cart before the horse. Some of this stuff is, in a way, too advanced. Because you got to get somebody who can hang up there for a minute first. Once in a minute's tough. Once you get up there for a minute, then you're ready for more nuanced cueing. Because without that, you can't even stay up there a minute. You don't even know which way is left, which way is right. When you practice being up there for a minute, you start to be able to hang and kind of go, okay, I can move. Okay, I can bend my leg. Okay, I can do this. And it becomes more interesting. If I cue it to you now, it's like me trying to take Kim, teach her a flying omoplata.
Got it.
And it's like, wait, you know, not there yet, you know. So for what we're doing today, this is, let's get him to the wall. Let's get him up on the wall. As soon as you get up on the wall, start getting off the wall. Like, that's my advice to people. As soon as you can get up to the wall, try and leave the wall behind. Practice your minute thing, that's cool. But because it teaches you bad habits, it teaches you to overshoot.
So as soon as you can do that, then start trying to
I thought you meant
I don't know,
balance.
like come off the wall slightly You're like,
Not do it in the middle of the room. Come off the wall slightly and start to balance on your hands.
So what I would do is I would do this. Let's say you can just kick up to the wall for the first time today. Good. Now work on holding it for a minute. You can do that forever. That's a good practice to have. Practice that forever. Minute. Handstand. Understand how your body is upside down. Left is right, right is left. Front is back, back is front. It's confusing. Once you understand that pretty well, get off the wall. Stop kicking up to the wall. Because the wall is teaching you to overshoot. Don't do what most people do. I'm going to kick up to the wall and then I'm going to balance off the wall.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Because what you did was, when you go to the middle of the room, guess what you're going to do every time? Overshoot. Start to practice off the wall. And there's a way to do that. There's a whole system of how to break it down. But again, let's get to the wall first. Let's get the strength. And that will do what we need. Okay? Any other questions?
What's the handstand that Raganoff has always had? That like famous photo, not famous, but that
He's
quintessential.
winking.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
Yeah, that's scorpion.
A scorpion.
So that's a handstand, but your legs have dropped.
Dropped over your.
Yeah,
You're
like a back
on
bend.
your forearms or no?
It could be on your forearms or your hands. You typically forearm balance is easier than a handstand. Now I'm going to explain. Have I explained to you why a headstand isn't so great?
Because the cervical spine, right?
You got it. So headstand is not a bad pose. It's not an evil pose, but it's not the best pose either because you're putting all the weight in your cervical spine. I'd much rather do handstand or forearm balance.
And you said forearms easier?
Forearm is typically easier for people because you have a balance point, a contact point of here to here. Handstand, my balance point is here. But makes sense.
I think it's a lot harder.
Puts a lot of strain
I
on your
found it a
shoulders.
lot harder.
Me too,
You know.
because shoulders, my
Yeah.
shoulders are tighter.
Shoulders.
For women, it's much easier, typically. I say it's easier. It does intellectually make more sense because you have more points of contact. But when your shoulders are tight, like most men, it's harder. But it's just because of the tight shoulders.
it's not width of shoulders, you think?
No, I think it's muscular. Guys are just denser up there than women, you know?